30 goals were scored in the final round of the UEFA Champions League playoff games, showing why it's the most exciting club football competition in the world, even though headlines were on two major players, Victor Osimeh and, of course, Vinicius Jr., the dancing man. Dance is now the order of the day. There are exciting games across board this weekend. We have Oriental Derby in the NPFL. We have the Seville Derby in Spain. We have a certain London Derby in England, a big London Derby, and a Legbere London Derby, kinda. And of course, there's the Klassiker in the German Bundesliga. There are also conversations around the Super Falcons because they'll be playing one of the two friendlies against South Cameroon this Saturday. Well, they did that before the last WAFCON and they won. Let's see if they win Cameroon again and end up winning the WAFCON for 2026. Welcome to this edition of Premium Sport on PBO TV. My name is Boluwatitonishola Omoni. Let's go on this quick break and when we come back, it'll be time for the news bit. Welcome back from that break. It's still Premium Sport on PBO TV. Yes, I'm still Boluwatitonishola Omoni, and it's time for news beat. Let's just run through before I bring in my guest or my partner for today. In boxing, Daniel Dubois refused a fist bump from world champion Fabio Wadley as the pair came face to face as a lively news conference in London ahead of their exciting bout expected to take place in Manchester at the Coop Live Arena on the 9th of March. You know, in boxing, sometimes there are fights, there are bans, everything starts before they get into the ring. Well, the best time to make mouth is before you get into the ring because anything can happen. And after that, Wadley said he would flatten the challenger. Quoting him, I said, "My power is proven. If there's time left on the clock, I'm taking you out of the fight." Woof. Talk is cheap, like they say in life. Let's see if he will really take out Daniel Dubois. Leaving that now, talking about the tennis as a, well, you can call it the kind of drama or saga in tennis right now. The Breakaway Players Union that is suing the Tour and Grand Slam tournament has thrown in their weight behind Tara Moore's $20 million legal battle against the Women's Tennis Association, that's WTA, in a new front in the sports civil war. Moore, a former British number one doubles player who this week brought a legal action against negligence against the WTA after being handed a 4-year ban for doping. It's using the lawyer from the Professional Tennis Players Association legal partner, Kings and Spalding. Interesting thing is you are suspended for doping and you are challenging. Well, let's see what the outcome of everything would be. And this one is an annoying story, the story of a pervert. A man has been slapped with a 7-month suspended prison sentence after being found guilty of taking secret videos and snaps of women's football team. The disgraced former employee has been fined 1,200 euros after capturing the footage and photos inside the changing room, gym, and showers. In the region of 30 players were identified on the recordings and pictures, leading to the sentence being handed over out in the regional court. The man who worked for an Australian top flight side, Al Touch, between 2020 and 2025 was read out, accepted the sentence. A statement from the victim, who will be paid 625 euros each in compensation, was read out during the trials. I think suspended sentence for someone like this is even too small. He should be in jail. A pervert. Setting up cameras in the shower, locker room, gym of female athletes is embarrassing to you as a man. I think even the fine was the slap of 1,200 euros. Maybe 5-year salary should have gone into this, or maybe next time he would use his head. But this is where we'll put a chill pill on Newsbeat for today. We have loads of conversations to talk about in the Naija flavor. After this break, it's time to discuss Naija flavor. Welcome back from that break. Yes, it's time to discuss Naija flavor on Premium Sport on PBO TV. I'm still here, Boluwatitonishola Omoni, and my partner for today is none other than the guy that has been consistent in recent weeks, Pedro Peter. But before we get to the conversation, Pedro, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Then how are you feeling that your favorite Inter Milan team disappointed you? And now they're out of the UEFA Champions League.
Well, for that, not so good. But however, we're actually the architects of our own downfall. I'll just put it like that. Okay, well, we'll just put it like that. Let's move on to Naija flavor quickly. And let's start with the Super Falcons camp. At least you know. If many people don't know, you know, I've always been an advocate of coming to camp early. And I've been complaining about it for years. And of course, the Super Falcons, just like their men,
have been doing for years. They're also doing the same thing now. Camp opened with about, I think just 4 came early, but the same day 5, they had 9 players and 11 players. But camp issues aside, resuming late or early aside, in fact, some person complaining, Asat is not in the team. I say, calm down. It's a friendly ahead of the tournament. We know what Asat can do, and that's exactly what the manager, Justin Madugu, said. It's a friendly, let's check out new players. Leading to the last Women Africa Cup of Nations, we were supposed to play Cameroon twice as the Indomitable Lionesses. They had flight issues and all. They came late. Only one match was played. Falcons ended up winning the Women Africa Cup of Nations. Now, the team already settled in Yaoundé. It means they'll play the one on Saturday, then play the one on Tuesday next week as well. Are you thinking too much about this friendly? Or you agree with the coach just to check out maybe 1 or 2 new players ahead of the tournaments that starts next month?
I think from the WAFCON qualifiers that we played against Benin, that was late towards the later part of 2025. This will be the first competitive gathering that the team would be having.
Let me put it to you. Before the last WAFCON, the team went, I think, about 7 months or thereabout without playing a single game.
Yeah.
Even this one too. Since the WAFCON, the only games they played were competitive games like qualifiers and all.
Yes.
They missed about 2 or 3 FIFA windows.
So even this one too, we played the Benin Republic, which we defeated
last
them.
Qualifiers and boom.
Yeah. So just to book our place in this competition. So now we've been off the radar, but thankfully the girls are here. They've congregated. But of course, we as at now at least the camp should be about full. Because of the fixture is almost at hand anyway. So, but camping opened earlier this week. 11 players. The first training session went down, I think, on Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday. Just 11 players took part in that first training session. Though 4 extra players later came on that Wednesday, but they did not take part.
They didn't meet the training time.
They did not take part in the training session. The likes of Rinsola Babajide, they were amongst the later 4 that came. But amongst the top 11, of course, they were led by the captain Rashidat Ajibade. So Christy Ucheibe, Ngozi Okobi.
I'm happy she's back in the team.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I'm really excited she's back.
Yes,
and I'm more excited for even Gift Monday.
Oh yes.
The truth, in the last 3 years, I think she's been Nigeria's best forward.
The best
club
actually.
Performance. And
so,
for whatever reason,
I'm hoping that she's not just used for
friendly. Then
when the tournament comes and she's out again, because it happened the last time. Mm-hmm. So I was disappointed. In fact, I was expecting Monday Gift to feature prominently during the tournament.
Because we saw players like.
In fact, we were handed a shock whereby she wasn't even taken at all.
Yellow auntie. How did I forget her name?
Ashley Plumpton?
No, the one, not Oyinbo, the yellow one.
AB.
No, the winger.
Okay, the winger.
That was added to the team at the last WAFCON. Makeup auntie. Why am I forgetting her name?
Francesca Odega.
How she made that team was amazing.
That was even shocking.
Then Odega retired. She was not longer with the team. Onomonu retired. Then we still could not add Gift Monday. I like how people push the agenda. They have to be asking the coach, even though Charles said, I had a problem with her, blah, blah, was giving but at least it's good she's back now. Hopefully, he's not back for friendly and out for tournament.
For the tournament.
You're not here, we needed to put assistant back. I love assistant. I want her to go for the WAFCON, probably her last tournament. But
if she sticks around, the World Cup is just next summer. Yep. If she sticks around, the World Cup can just be a final swan song for her. Because
she's playing among these people and she does well for her club.
Yeah, because she's currently in Saudi Arabia.
But do you I mean even Gift. She plays for Washington.
Yes, Washington Spirit.
Do you think Falcons will win the WAFCON again? Do you believe they can win it? They have the players.
Well, they look good because at least it's less than a year they won the last one. That was in July in Morocco. So having to, of course, this tournament is just because of the fact that they have to
qualifiers.
Yeah, qualify. It serves as qualifiers for the World Cup, and also it was a long time. Before 2025, the last WAFCON was held in 2022. 2022, and so that it has not actually been forthcoming for the women. Mm-hmm. So, but anyways, it's all good. I will still tip them. Of course, they will be amongst the top 2.
You don't even need to put anything. Pedro is a punter.
But what is the most important thing? I want us to qualify for the
World Cup. Yeah, at this point, I'm always rooting for Falcons to win, but when it's the World Cup,
just qualify.
At least enter semi-final. We'll talk about trophy later.
Yes, enter
semi-final. Then we'll discuss about whatever will come next. The Super
Falcons are one of just 7 countries to have made every edition of the World Cup since its inception in 1991 in China. You have the United States,
US.
Brazil. So
I think one of the Asian teams, is it China or Japan?
No, China dropped out, you know.
So it's Japan, Abi? I think one of them has been consistent as well.
So Nigeria, that is what, if there is anything, if you are a federation, as in, that was very, very surprising. So if you are a federation boss, as in, it doesn't matter how you get.
That's your first target.
All you should do. If you fail in any other thing, well, of course, we don't want you to fail because we will still come after you. If you fail at every other thing, what you should not fail at is the Super Falcons qualifying for the World Cup. We should always have that record for as long as possible. And now, when we look at the men's side, the senior men's
Pedro, please move on. Please move
on. And we talk about
just embarrassment. Just move on.
The only team in world football to have played in every edition of the World Cup since its inception in 1930 is Brazil.
And no matter what,
they will always qualify. So
they've had tournaments they didn't play well. They've qualified through playoffs. I think even 2002 or so.
Exactly.
But they go enter.
So you should always make sure. Like, and now I don't want, no matter the politics in the federation,
just stain the Falcons white.
Make sure that the Falcons are always, so that when they, at least we should always be there for something good, for something record breaking. We should always be there. So I don't want to a situation by, so we go to Cameroon, definitely we'll easily come out from our group. Our group is easy enough. Just beat the opponent in the quarterfinals. Once we're in the semifinals, we are in the World Cup.
We may forgive you if you lose.
But of course,
qualify.
That was what actually happened in 2022. We did not even finish on the podium. As in the top of the
world around the world drum,
we did not even finish on the podium, first, second, or third. You know, even losing to Zambia,
because at least
we qualified for the World Cup, and we went there and we still made a statement. At least we got out of our group. You know,
I'm so surprising.
Yeah, we lost in
most, if not all of us, didn't expect them to go through.
Losing to England on penalties is not actually not so bad. So, but at least we are hoping to qualify for this time around. Then let's see what we are able to do. So, like you said, that the qualifiers is just weekend here, tomorrow, Saturday, then on Tuesday, 28th February and 3rd. March. So we do not actually care for the result. Just build some synergy with the team.
Just go and lose like
some chemistry, and all that. Because
I believe even one of the teams will be at least maybe 8 or 9 of the first team will start in one of these games.
Definitely, Madugu cannot tell me now, or he cannot tell us that he doesn't know
about 80% of this year. That's the problem.
You have been on the job now for more than a year plus, and you cannot just tell us that.
So, Justin Madugu, we are giving you our own verdict. We don't care much about the result here. It's a friendly, but still doesn't. We want to believe the crooks of your players. Try out the new ones, goalkeeper. We know the greatest keeper on the African scene for women's football is our keeper. That one, no shaking. So, you don't even have to use her because we know what she can do. Come what may, we want Nigeria to qualify for the World Cup, which is your first target for us. Pedro, this next one is interesting. There was a story in the course of the week from IFFHS. Top 500 clubs in the world, and only 2 MPFL clubs made it there. In fact, one of them.
You said top 500.
One of them is getting out already, 400 and something. That's Eyimba, and the other one is in 200 plus. Rivers United. People were celebrating, and I said no. We should have more than 2 clubs.
No,
in top 500.
In the top 500. You have to. I even thought we were like 1,500 because. What right does Rivers United have in the top 200? They don't look like a team that is that a professional team. I would pick a League One in England, a team in League One.
You mean League Two?
You have the Premier League.
Yeah, and that's what I said.
Championship.
I mean, you probably
League
mean
One.
League Two.
Okay, let me just.
In terms of how it's run,
yes,
probably League Two.
Probably League Two because top 200.
Some non-league clubs are properly run because remember,
of course, they are well run now.
Leicester owner bought them from non-league.
Thank you. What of the guys with the Hollywood aura?
Wrexham,
with the Deadpool guy. Come on, these are teams that they are being run very well. Wrexham just a minute percentage of the team, a minute stake because they are seeking more investment as they try to push for an unlikely promotion.
League,
to the Premier League. Who says you cannot do these things? But our own, I don't know. By 400 and something. Honestly, I will have to ask if it was a Nigerian that carried out that list because I trust me. I'm not.
Pedro, the way our teams are going on the continent now, if they do another draw next year, we may end up having only Rivers. By the time they are doing another one in 2-3 years, we may have 0 because, for example, they check your domestic league performance points and they check your continental performances. That's probably why Real Madrid are always top and everything. I can't remember the last time Real Madrid dropped out of top 2
or even top
because
5.
of performance. So for our teams, this is also a call. When people say the target is always to play in the
continent,
and not win, I say to myself, Pedro, before this new format, this new format of Club World Cup, I calculated the money Al Ahly had made in their club, the old format, and guess how much, Pedro? About $20 million. $20 million in Naira is over 30 billion Naira. If we complain that we don't have money in MPB, qualify for continent, this one they qualify for, I can't remember how much they even gave them that you even played in the playoff. Then imagine you qualify for group phase and you win. We talk about money, now mere money we they talk about. Qualify for Club World Cup, where you earn millions of pounds. That's even where the money is.
Now, the 4 representatives that flew Africa's flag in the last one in USA, I think Al Ahly was part of them. Sundowns was the only team in sub-Saharan Africa. Then the rest were from North Africa. Trust me, they made good money, and of course, they had points.
Money in local currency in dollars, in USD, millions USD. In dollars.
Sundowns also they won a game.
Even won a game, yeah.
They won a game. I think all the African representatives they all won a game. They even had a couple of draws here and they sprinkled here, and so that if you don't do well, you cannot. And when you see these teams bringing players, recruits from other nationalities, you now start wondering, how do they do it? It's when you plan and you execute well. Now look at we are even talking about Mamelodi Sundowns. That is even big now. Now look at Stellenbosch.
African club teams win. You get $4 million if you win the CAF Champions League. But for just showing face at the Club World Cup, you are guaranteed almost $10 million.
Now imagine almost $10 million.
Imagine you win you win Champions League and you qualify for Club World Cup.
That is
you already 40. Have about 15 million.
Around 15.
And you are yet
now tell me what you won't do in making that club grow more than it already has.
Again, you may think Pedro is agitated and is criticizing, but the truth is we all want the best
now,
for our league.
Speaking of the continent now, Rivers United that participated at least the group stages of the CAF Champions that just finished a while back.
Don't remind us.
Out of all the 16 teams in the group stage, it was only Rivers United that had the least point. We had only 1 point. The least, as if you had ranked all of them from first to 16th. We took last. Only 1 single point. Lost 5 games. In fact, we lost all the home games. Then back in the day when I think about 20 years ago, 20 years, 15 years ago,
you win at home.
You were like, okay,
try and get as many points away.
That would see you.
They lost at home. Try and got as many points away, which was 1.
Now, gone are the days where you say, okay, you win your home games, then probably hope for a couple of draws here and there.
Away, yeah.
Now, everybody's even coming to collect the points from the house now. So what do you want to fight for? Now, we can't even make the group stage. We even celebrate. Rivers first club in 6 years. I'm like, wow. Since 2018, I'll be 20.
It's really, really embarrassing.
Very, very poor. But
we have to get everything
never get
right.
it right. We'll still come here sometime in the future, maybe months, maybe a couple of years, and we'll still complain. We'll still talk.
Hopefully, all these words will not fall on deaf ears. We know we've been saying it for a while. It kept falling on deaf ears. Maybe this embarrassment will make us have a new turn. Let's move on to the NPFL Monday 28th games. Where Rivers United played the midweek. They won, so they moved to the summit of the NPFL, and they still have 3 games in hand. Is it 3 or 4?
Yes, 3.
Yeah. So for Rivers United haters, they will win the NPFL this season, no matter what you say.
They beat Barao anyway. I thought Barao would get a point after they have played a goalless for a long time.
Barao go do Barao for Rivers and they collect.
Only for Rivers to still get that all-important goal.
85th minute of the game.
And
now Rivers United, they will be playing away to Bayelsa United in Yenagoa. Bendel chance at the Samuel Gbomida Stadium will play against Ikorodu City. El Kanemi Warriors will host Abia Warriors. Barao FC that lost in midweek will play against Plateau United in Kano. Rangers will welcome Nassau United to Enugu. There's an Oriental derby in Aba as Enyimba, embarrassing this season despite having another coach. They'll be playing against Kun Khalifa. I think they're expected to win that game. Kwara United in Ilori will host... they're not playing in Ilori. They've been banished. But I don't know where the conclusion of their banishment is. I can't remember. They will be hosting Wiki Tourists. Niger Tornadoes play against Warri Wolves. Remo Stars. I don't even know where Remo Stars are also playing. they attempted.
For Kwara, I think they were banished to Djibouti.
It's too close now. Although we spoke with
from Kwara
we spoke with Elegbele. He said at the start of the season they have some arrangements of punishment. We now suggested maybe because it's too close, extend it. He said that has to be at the end of the season at their AGM before a new campaign starts. If you are banished from the north, they go south. From south, they go east. Maybe because they feel if you ban it's still close, 3 hours journey. By the time you travel 10 hours.
Well, from Kwara, from Kwara to this will take you more than 3 hours.
I'm a 34. It's still not far. If you go like 10-hour journey to play home match, you people's head will be correct. Not beating up.
Maybe they'll fly this amount. They'll fly.
By the time they waste money, you are flying for home. You are still flying for away. They will think very well. I remember Stars at some point they played in Abeokuta. They got back to Kenya. They got banished. They played in Ibadan. Ibadan was cancelled. They went to Benin. Now that Ibadan is back, the Lakers are messing. So maybe that's where Remo will go back to playing their home games. And Shooting Stars.
But what is the state of the stadium now that it has returned? Now is it the case that they watered the grass, or what was the work that went down?
Of the nothing.
Okay. Because these things, because trust me, I've been trying to keep tabs on the situation as regards the playing turf and all that, the stadium itself. Okay, what was the reason for it being shut down? They said something. Okay, now I was trying to follow up. Okay, what is being done on the turf first? Or did they just leave it to just to level the entire thing?
Let breeze blow over the conversation that we move on.
Trust me, these things are just now. Trust me, when we see the next fixture, now,
don't go too far. Is this weekend?
On TV.
Shooting Stars will be playing against Kano Pillars at home this weekend.
We'll see what.
So at least I have a friend who never misses, except he's not in Nigeria or he's not in Ibadan. He never misses any game from Shooting Stars. So let's see. I'm sure I'll see pictures from him. We'll get to find out if there's been true adjustments or not. I said there are too many conversations around Nigeria and saying, so we're still on Nigeria flavor. I'm still not leaving it. There was a conversation last week that Favor Ashe has left to go and join Qatar, doing the same thing Favor Ofili did to switch allegiance. But we now found out in the course of the week, according to World Athletics, that they did not receive any information about switch from Nigeria to Qatar. So Pedro, who are we to blame? Is it the reporter who report? Because based on this talk, Favor Ashe has not said anything. But they are now saying this conversation is coming from Maggie Durant, the head of communications for World Athletics, that we can confirm that no application has been received. Who is at fault? Because if it's not the truth, I think we need to get serious about fake news amongst your colleague.
Okay, now it could be a case of
misinterpretation.
Yeah, maybe misinterpretation.
Maybe he said I want
fake news, or
then they switch it to he has.
But now I get that, of course, definitely for any athlete to switch nationalities, the world body has to be aware, because they are the ones that will ratify
and there has to be
move.
A 3-year wait.
Yes, it has to be a 3-year wait. Of which you be excluded from all international competitions. Of course, you can be doing your diamond leagues and the likes, and your invitationals and memorials. So you can be doing all that. But as far as a
proper
international competitions, you will be ineligible for a 3-year period, which is about, say, 36 months. So, but in the case of Favor Ashe, when that first story came up, there was, I think, a quote from him, that was even attributed to him.
Yeah.
So I read that, so he
had an interview while training in South Africa.
Yeah, so
I think talking about how good the Qatari facility is.
Exactly, and all that. So Favor Ashe did not confirm that, okay, I'm going there. He just put it like, okay, like let us see. That, for lack of a better word, this is me just paraphrasing.
As you go be.
Yeah, this is me just paraphrasing. So it's not the case that okay, I have actually gone or something. It could be that it's something he's considering. Of course, when you are considering a move or a plan, you will not actually make the official move.
Because at least I know you also worked in the writing industry. I had an argument with someone a while back on, since like people don't know the importance of headline. People don't know the importance of a quote.
Exactly.
If you quote me, I think it was Osimeh then and Maradona. When he said, I want to be like Maradona, then people quoted it like my next Maradona or something. And we were like, hey, that's not what you meant. But it doesn't mean it. If you are quoting something, like if you are suggesting, let it be a suggestion. If you are quoting someone, it means you are saying this person said this. I'm saying it to you. That you are already typing another quote right now that the person didn't say verbatim. You can put the athlete in trouble. You can put yourself in trouble. you can put your media house in trouble. And you can put everyone in trouble because everyone start guessing and saying crazy things. So, okay, it's Pedro, I'm giving this assignment. Please help us find out the truth behind this thing. So let's know who made the error. Because I'll call you out. If it's Favor Ashe himself, we'll call you out on Premium Sports. We don't sugarcoat. We tell you the way it is. So
now, however, for Favor Ashe, could it be that it is something he would still do? But of course, it is not like probably.
And it could be a like friendly conversation, like we're off air. Then Pedro, I won't go join Qatar because of this. It could that could also be the situation.
Exactly, because these things happen. You know, I've had several interviews and of course some chats with some personalities, and they was okay off record. So they'll just tell you stuff and all that. Like, oh, this is it, that is that. So, but as it stands now, maybe it will be a thing of the future. Of course, the future not so far from now. Maybe a couple of months, a year max. Then this thing may either gain steam, gather more momentum, or probably it may just die off like that. So it will be either or. However, we'll still here at a Premium Sports, we'll still do a bit of digging, especially try to reach out to Favor Ashe. I know getting Favor Ashe may be a little bit so, but of course, a couple of persons close by should be able to get, yeah.
Yep.
So as for that, well, at least for now, let us
based
say,
on the fact that we know,
yeah,
he has not switched to
since World Athletics has actually okay, for now we've not received anything. So anything that is being received, of course, we will inform the entire public. So for now, let's just play the waiting game, because definitely all these things, the Favor to Qatar is not just something that just dropped from anywhere. Definitely, it's just something that would most likely gain steam as time goes on.
Well, Favor Ashe, what about this year decide to make all the best to you, whether you represent Nigeria or Qatar? And finally, before we leave the Nigeria flavor, let's talk about basketball. The Tigers and Nigeria 7-time African champions. The Tigers have announced a professional squad ahead of the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifying tournament set to take place from the 11th to 17th of March 2026 in Lyon, France. The head coach of the team, Rena Wakama, selected quite some players, old folks, young ones, as they prepare to face France, Germany, South Korea, Colombia, and the Philippines in the qualifying event. Leading the squad are established stars like Emi Okonkwo, Sarah Ogoke, Promise, Amukamara, and Ezine Kalu, alongside young prospect Pius Idubano, Adenike Olawi, Grace Efosa, Rita Igbokwe, Nwandu Hemba, and Tewo Gbade Mololuwa. Hopefully, these girls do enough to do well to surprise everyone, qualify for the World Cup. We'll be here to support you, the Tigers. What a man can do, a woman can do better. If you don't believe it, follow Nigeria sports. You get to love this phrase because the women are making us proud across board. This is where we.
By the way, I did I hear Nwandu Hemba? Mm-hmm. Part of that. Wow, trust me. I had the opportunity or the privilege of seeing her at the National League, of course, the more like the playoffs. Yeah, in Lagos. In Lagos, the one sponsored by that financial institution, just in Lagos, just sometime in September, October last year. Trust me, she's one of the finest. Trust me.
But I'm surprised, except she's injured. What's her name is not in the team. No. This girl that played well in Nigeria too before she traveled. Oh, how did I forget her name? Hopefully, if I remember before the show.
You mean Musa?
Musa, yeah.
Yes, Musa.
Maybe she's.
You know, she's in France now with Lando Basket. With that's one of the.
Maybe
top.
She's injured.
Yeah, probably because she's one of course,
superstar.
She takes care of the ball, a good rebounder, and of course she contributes on both sides of the court, both offense.
We
and
are
defense.
safe with Nwandu.
Nwandu Hembam she's good, very very good. You know, she for doing her thing for MFM, women's basketball team here in the country. In the,
many of them play for MFM.
Yeah, in the Zenith Bank Women's Basketball League. Trust me, she's that good. Of course, she was part of the Tigers team that went to the World Cup under 19. Somewhere in Czech Republic. You know. In Brno, that's the town they played that. Of course, Nigeria, the junior Tigers, they won 2 of their matches, the several games they played. Of course, it was a good learning curve for them. They get to,
never been there before.
Been there before. Yes, it was the first time of playing top quality oppositions. Teams and countries that are better than you are. And of course, they did well. In about 2-3 of those fixtures, they registered double point figures, which was very, very good for them. So having to see Mbam take part, fine, she may not be among the starters on the floor,
definitely.
But of course, she will learn a lot.
Expected to put her input one way.
Where you have a veteran, Sarah Ogoke, there you have one of the best, Ezine Kalu.
Learning under.
There you have Amy Okonkwo, like the sharpshooters in that team. Trust me, the future can only be upside for you. Myself, when the coach Rena Wakama came on board, of course, the players that she has been using to prosecute the last 2 AfroBasket tournaments, of course, they've been like a spin-off from the former coach. Then Otis Ugly, Otis. One thing Otis usually did whenever it was time for any major competition, it could be a qualifier or the main tournament itself. What Otis did was that he knew 70-80% of his team, but he would still bring in 2-3 extras to just join in. And trust me, and those 2-3 that he would usually bring up, they later end, in the end, a year or two, they tend to become established stars. They contribute positively to the team. He was there when he brought Amy Okonkwo, Mujano Musa, and trust me, they are the ones now that form the spine of the D Tigress. So now that Wakama is on board, for me, she has already done well for herself. But for me, I felt that, okay, for her to earn her stripes fully, I would like to see her integrate more players into the team, see how she phases out some of the old legs and the veterans, and let's see how those players that she would invite, how they would probably blend in and perform in like 2, 3, 4 years from now. And now that she's brought 2 very, very good persons, like from the local scene, trust me, the sky can only be, the starting point for her and the team. I hope she holds the role for a long time. I know she's combining it with a coaching role in the US.
She's doing well with Atuto.
So hopefully it can only get better. Of course, thankfully we are already at the World Cup, so it doesn't matter what we play in the qualifiers. So we just go there, have fun, of course, reasonable fun, and try and put our best and see what we can do, because we don't have much window before the World Cup comes, because it is difficult to gather these players. It is difficult, and of course we have a federation whereby funding is always a problem. So we take full advantage of these qualifiers, see what we can do. Then from there we just build on from there. The coaches know now, okay, this is who we'll take to the World Cup, and probably if they do well in their club sides, in their franchises, they'll be on the plane heading to the World Cup later on in the summer. I think sometime in September.
Oh, you've heard it from Pedro right there. I wish all the girls all the best. At Laton, even if you don't do well globally, these Africans, we're not Colombian, and we're already planning for the future. That's why we'll take a chill pill on Niger flavor. Don't worry, we won't waste too much time on discussing Eurofocus, because just run through some of the key fixtures we have for this weekend. After this break, it's be time for Eurofocus. Welcome back from that break. It's still Premium Sports on PBO TV. It's time for Eurofocus, and UEFA Champions League is done and dusted. Maybe next week we'll discuss the round of 16 fixtures. But for now, let me just remind you the results of the games that were played in midweek. Atletico Madrid won against Club Brugge 4-1, 7-4 on aggregate. The Bayer Leverkusen and the Bayer right now played goalless with Olympiacos, then 2-0 on aggregate at the St. James's Park. Newcastle United got a scare, but they had already done the job in the first leg. They won 3-2 against Karabakh, but 9-3 on aggregate. Atalanta, wow, they were down 2-0 in the first leg, but they won 4-1 in the second leg to win 4-3 on aggregate. Inter Milan lost away to Bodo Glimt. They still lost again in the second leg. Embarrassing. The game ended, that should be 2-5 on aggregate at the Turin Stadium. That was a beautiful game of football. I was shocked and surprised at what the fight Juventus put up. Unfortunately, they ended up being eliminated. They were down 5-2. They killed themselves in the first leg. They were down 5-2 in the first leg. Got a man down immediately. Second half started, but they won the game 3-0. In extra time, Osimeh and Yilmaz scored 2 goals in extra time to give them the victory. PSG, they got a scare as well. They were played out the 2-0 against Monaco, but they did the job in the first leg by winning 3-2. So the game ended 5-4 on aggregates. The one that everyone wanted to watch, raised all the eyebrows and all, was at the Bernabeu. between Real Madrid and Benfica. The Blancos won first leg. Then Benfica scored first in that game in the 14th minute, but 2 minutes after Tchouaméni leveled, then comment the man, Vinicius Jr. got the winning goal for Real Madrid, and as he did in the first leg, went to the corner flag and danced. But this time around, no trouble, nothing. Let's leave the Champions League and talk about the games we have for this weekend. In the friendly gun, there's Monaco taking on Angers. Then there's Le Havre taking on PSG. Paris will play OGC Nice. Lille play Nantes. Metz Brest. And Marseille will take on Lyon. The battle of the Olympique Marseille and Olympique Lyonnais. This game, expect war. Expect battle, because whenever these two guys face each other, is always feisty. Two of the biggest boys in the land. In the German Bundesliga at the Bayer Arena, there's Leverkusen against Mainz. Borussia Mönchengladbach will take on Union Berlin. Stuttgart versus Wolfsburg. Eintracht Frankfurt will take on Freiburg. Hamburg will play against RB Leipzig. But the biggest game, probably the biggest game in Europe this weekend, minus fan base, minus noise. The Klassiker. Borussia Dortmund at home against Bayern Munich. Pedro, the Klassiker. Irrespective of who is in form, when these two guys face each other, it's always the war.
Oh yes, it is. And of course, of recent times, Bayern Munich have been the one actually getting the upper hand. So, but this time around, of course, Vincent Kompany would want to actually continue his charge towards the title. They lead by about 6 odd points or so. They're about in the title race.
And the win for Dortmund at home cuts it to 3.
Oh, yes. So there is a great incentive for Dortmund to actually throw the spanner into the works of Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have been good this season, as in scoring goals. Of course, the trident in attack when it comes to Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, yes, and Michael Olise. They've been good. They've not even missed Jamal Musiala, who suffered an ankle break during the Club World Cup. Of course, although he's back. And
providing assistance.
Yes, yeah, and he celebrated his 23rd birthday, over the course of the week. So, I think, Bayern Munich, they have it good, they have it good. But what would actually worry fans of Bayern, or probably every neutral, it is the fact that Bayern, they concede goals, just name it. When they play any opposition, whether bottom of the table or a fellow rival, they let in go. Sometimes they let in as much as 2, 3 in a single fixture, which is not so good for a team of Bayern Munich's caliber, So, but as it is, anyway, some people will say he's lucky that he is in Germany in the Bundesliga. If you were to concede that much goals, probably in Spain or in England, you will not be winning the title. Of course, there's facts to back it up. If you check out the Liverpool side that failed to win the league in 2014, they're about the one that City won.
The problem was conceding, not scoring.
If they tell you that team scored over a century of goals, you would be amazed. But what ultimately did them in? They conceded more than half of that number, over 50 plus goals. You can never be a champion in your domestic division if you let in 50 plus goals in a season. So Bayern, they have been found culpable over time, over weeks. I remember the 2-2 they played against Union Berlin. They even had to come from 2 goals down to draw that one. They won against Hamburger. They let in 2 goals. So many fixtures, they are just conceding. However, we feel they will still concede because Dortmund are also an attacking side in their own right, with the likes of Seru Guirassy, Karim Adeyemi, Nico Slotterbeck. They've got their own firepower too as well. Even though Daniel Malen left during the summer, of course, they've overcompensated for his departure. This time around, this fixture, there's a lot riding on it for both teams. Like you said, 2 things that would make me want to actually watch this fixture. Dortmund, they suffered a painful exit in the Champions League in midweek. The playoff round, of course, they will not be playing in the round of 16. So for that, Niko Kovac would want a response. Dortmund would want a response. And of course, it doesn't come any better than the champions and the table toppers, Bayern. So if you beat them, at least that would ease the fans, put their minds at ease and probably make up for the manner in which they lost to Atalanta 4-1 in the playoff round of the Champions League. So that one would probably just probably add like the balm on the wounds of every Dortmund fan. So Dortmund are coming into this fixture. There are no major absentees as far as Dortmund are concerned. Everybody is fit and raring to go. Most of the squad actually. So Guirassy had a quiet out in midweek against Atalanta, the return leg in Bergamo. So this time around, I see him probably, wanting to dictate things, at least when as far as the attacking side is concerned. As for Bayern, of course, whatever good thing that happens to them, for every goal they score, it always has the imprint of Michael Olise and Harry Kane, and also Luis Diaz. Those guys, they are just scoring goals, creating goals for fun. And this time around, it looks so likely. I think it's a game that will favor the attackers for both teams. It will favor both of them. So it is a case of who would concede less. If you concede less, the chances are that you get to win that particular fixture. A draw does Bayern a whole world of good. And of course, Bayern, they are coming to this fixture very fresh. They did not exert themselves in midweek playing needless playoff Champions League games. So they rested, unlike Dortmund who had to labor and they were still knocked out. So they have to pick themselves up for it. Of course, the turnaround time for you to pick yourself up psychologically is not too much, not too lengthy, but you have to pick yourself and do the job they are being paid to do. Face Bayern and ultimately see how you can come away with something. A draw will just about be enough, but if they do lose, the gap will just will further extend to 9 points, and they'll be, and at this stage of the season, because March is just upon us, the season ends in May. The games are less, they are thinning out, so it will take a whole lot, more like a disaster of sorts to see Bayern just crumble and you see yourself overtaking them to win the league.
So if you want to, this is your best chance.
This is your best chance. Of course, some years ago they had the best chance. Some seasons where you just needed to win your game at home. But
so a team that has lost about 4 or 5 straight games.
They were winless in their last 7, only for them to still end up drawing. Dortmund have, in fact, when you call the classical, the godfathers and the patrons of bottling, you have to call Dortmund. Trust me, that team. Yeah.
Dortmund bottling company. Well, let's move on from there to the Italian Serie A, where Napoli will be traveling to Verona to take on Hellas Verona at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. Inter will play Genoa. Cremonese will beat AC Milan on opening match day at San Siro. Will welcome them this time around. Sassuolo playing against Atalanta. Torino in Turin against Lazio, and Roma at Stadio Olimpico will play against Juventus. In the Spanish La Liga, Rayo Vallecano will play Athletic Club. Mallorca will play against Real Sociedad. Real Oviedo will host the Capital Club Atletico Madrid. Valencia de Mestalla will play against Osasuna. We have a Seville derby between Real Betis and Sevilla. Girona will host Celta Vigo. Barcelona will have a tough task against Villarreal. And on Monday night, it's another Madrid derby between Real Madrid and Getafe. In the English Premier League, the ever controversial league, Liverpool will host West Ham United. Newcastle United will play against Everton. Leeds United will play Man City. A London derby between Fulham and Tottenham Hotspur at the Craven Cottage. Man United and Crystal Palace, in 9 of their last 10 games, there has been 9 away wins. Just one, even the one that would end in a win was a draw. And the big of them is at the Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Chelsea, but we are not discussing it now. I'm moving it straight into hot juice. After this break, we'll come back for more. Welcome back. It's the final lap of Premium Sports on PBO TV. Yes, I said we're going to discuss Arsenal and Chelsea, but before that, let's talk about the I don't know what to call it, craziness of Victor Osimeh calling out his teammates in an interview with CBS Sports, Henry, Michael Richards, Jamie Carragher, and of course, Kate Scott. I know Kingsley will talk about this. Kingsley will also talk about the Arsenal-Chelsea game, but let me ask Pedro just straight. Does it make any sense calling your player out after a match that you guys fought hard to win?
They didn't actually win, but at least they got the job done.
Qualify.
That just qualify. They did that 7-5 on aggregate. Of course, kudos has to go to Juventus and all that. What actually saved Galatasaray was a fixture going into extra time, and of course,
if it was the old days, Galatasaray would have been out on away goals.
Of course, exactly. They would have. You're spot on that. What actually saved them, of course, and playing 10-man down, there was just a lot that you would do. Fatigue, tiredness was setting and everything. So, but you've been called out to do something. Of course, your thoughts, as most players usually are being called up for such duties after a particular fixture. Just come in, say what you have to say or whatever you don't have to say. You just come in, do your thing and leave. So why call out a teammate? Both of you are on the same ship. You guys are steering towards a particular course.
Literally even called out the entire team that his teammates were. I'm like, guy, take it easy. When someone said, I said if you had scored 2, the game would have gone to extra time. They would have won in regular time. It's the same thing when people were trying to defend the extra time against Gabon as well as the play of that boy scored 2. I said if you had not missed that sitter, we wouldn't have gone to extra time. This is not a diss to Osimhen, but sometimes one of the listeners on my radio show in the morning, Pedro,
I will diss you.
One caller said Osimhen should never grant an interview again. That doesn't know how to talk to the media because they know, so they'll be pushing words into your mouth, and you go just the jabber they go.
Look, Osimhen has shown that
he's not mature.
Thank you. He's not matured. Forget what is on his passport that says he's 26, 27. It doesn't act like. Of course, we know coming from this part of the world, especially if you are born here and you do manage to break through and play football in Europe, we know that you may be slightly older than that. But hey, it is my own take. That is just Pedro's take, not on any other person. But for the things he says and for his actions on the pitch, it shows that he's immature, he's childish. I don't know. He acts foolishly. That's how I'll put it.
Because these same guys will be the one to provide passes for you.
Not just that, they will make your life miserable in the locker room. By the time when it comes to team meetings, having team meals and all that, by the time they start showing you 1 or 2, trust me, you are from Africa. Just so you know, you're a player of color. So these guys are. And Turkey is also one of such countries that from time to time this racism thing it can
be crazy in Turkey.
It plays out sometimes, even though sometimes they just know how to just suppress it. It's like it doesn't like this Turkish adventure or Turkish delight that he's currently enjoying. Napoli wanted to make. In fact, Napoli frustrated you, made life difficult for you. That's why I came for you, bailed you out. Some persons would like, okay, we've tried. You've done well for us at loan, during your loan spell. Napoli are making things difficult for us, so we just have to, slam the brakes and just let things go. But they came for you, fulfilled every part of the bargain. What you said you wanted to be paid, they agreed. Napoli asked them for the full transfer fee. They said they'll pay, even with bank guarantees. Galatasaray provided that. The fans, they adore you. They love you and all that. They've made you welcome. All you have to just settle down, knuckle down and play your football. Hey, smile and everything and just get out. At the end of the day or at the end of the week, collect the money that you fought so hard to collect. Why are you want to start antagonizing people? Let's not forget the one of the AFCON. That one just looks like day for yesterday in my eyes.
I thought he was going to fight Yilmaz when Yilmaz scored the second goal.
See the way he acted. Because both of them were actually gunning for that ball. But Yilmaz got to it first and scored and he ran to celebrate. I thought, okay, he scored for you. He scored for the team. It's obviously okay, go and celebrate as well. He just went to the goalpost to pick the ball. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. It's not the case that he scored a hat-trick or something. He just picked the ball. Then he was not doing his face.
We need to score 2 goals.
Then he was doing his face somehow. It was the captain, Mauro Icardi, that went to Yilmaz, who was on the floor.
And Icardi crisp past Osimhen.
Leave Osimhen. Osimhen is acting like a sports child who has.
But do you think it will have an effect on how the team is, or you think they'll just overlook it and move on?
This is not the one that Lookman just this and that and this. The coach, everybody, they were pandering to you. We were hearing this that. Okay, when he didn't come, during full time, at the AFCON, he left. the federation president, in quotes, it was alleged that he was running after him. Like, nobody gives a hoot about you. Nobody gives 2 cents about you, who you are. And trust me, they will bin you away. Thankfully, you have even you have done well. So if they want to put you on the market, they will easily get the money that they've paid Napoli. They will easily get it with even interest. So don't think you are all in all. Now that we hear that, okay, maybe Barcelona may, of course, but Barcelona will likely go for Alvarez more than Osimeh, except if there are no quality options on the market. And of course, maybe the second class quality that you may find, it will be the likes of Osimeh. Osimeh should just knock it down. Just in the space of 2 months, only you. Don't forget the one last year where he was, the way he was acting, throwing tantrums because no one passed to him, and of course that made headlines in Turkey. A journalist wrote about it, but we thought that, okay, that was just a one-off, and you are doing this. Let's just, of course, this is where we are. The next couple of days, next couple of weeks, we'll see what will pan out from it. And if the coach doesn't sit Osimhen down and talk sense into him, trust me, he may not like this is talk chat. It's like he doesn't want to play football. I don't know what is actually his problem, because he seems to be someone who has problem. All the people shouting Jago Jago, Olusosu, a passion and all that. You are seeing what you people are just hyping him, lifting him up for failure. Because when it happens, I will never say anything about it, because we all saw this thing coming. Now he's actually making us, resent him now. They'll say it's because he's the best person. Trust me, why I like the Westerners. If you are the only person that can do it, leave it. In as much as you don't fit the bill, either you are silly in character, you are stupid or foolish, they'll do away with you. They don't care. They'll prefer to do it by themselves. Even if they fail, they know that someday they will get it better. So you are not the best player to have ever played football. Pelé has come and gone. Marco van Basten has come and gone. Thierry Henry has come and gone. These were better strikers than you will ever be. So don't. Let's leave his case, Jerry. I beg.
Victor Osimeh, like they say, talent can get you only somewhere. Your attitude and character is what to keep you there and even take you higher. Like I said, Kingsley Akpan would share his thoughts on this one, and of course the Arsenal and Chelsea game. Then we'll come back and hear from Pedro.
Absolutely big weekend, in the EPL. There's the Arsenal-Chelsea game it up, and as I've said, Chelsea have not scored, I think, more than once in the last 5 outings, right? That Chelsea has scored only 1 goal in the last 5 times they've been right there at the Emirates. So hey, let's see how that will pan out. I'll just love Arsenal fans to be maybe a bit careful. I remember very, very well, but the last time these two teams played at Stamford Bridge, I remember that Arsenal were on the high, like they were flying high. Chelsea, I think, were on the back of a home loss. Was it to Sunderland or which team? And I remember saying very well then that it's a London derby. This Chelsea team know how to play against the big boys. And you remember what happened? Even with a red card, Arsenal could not pick up all 3 points. At the Emirates, I think it might just be a different kettle of fish, a different, ball of game. Because Arsenal look like they now have that killer instinct. After dropping points against Brentford and Wolves, you see how they dispatch Spurs. It'll be very, very tight. It might end in a draw. I think Arsenal might just nick it, maybe at the death. They've got some fantastic players, Victor Gyökeres is banging in the goals, which is good to see. Big game players, Gabriel Magalhaes can come in from the defense, and then put that ball in the back of the net. There's Declan Rice. All of those guys, Odegaard, Eze, the guys that love to play against Spurs, is still there. Trossard, Martinelli, and co. Let's not forget Madueke. Ex-Chelsea players might just be the ones that will hurt Chelsea, at the Emirates this weekend. But I just feel Arsenal should do enough to pick up all 3 points. But if, and it's a big, big if they don't watch it, Chelsea might just nick a point. I don't see Chelsea beating Arsenal right there at the Emirates. And for Victor Osimeh, Victor Osimeh's, that interview that he made immediately after that match, you don't come out on social media, you don't come out to throw your team under the bus, you don't come out to say that your team, they are timid, they are this, they are that. That was a disgraceful thing to say, and I feel that it's still the same thing we have been talking about Osimeh all this while. PR. His PR is very, very terrible and bad. Osimhen should not be saying that. He should go and apologize to his team, because these are the same guys that will still play when they get to play that Liverpool or Spurs in the UEFA Champions League. Go back to you, Bolu.
Well, you heard it from the amazing Kingsley himself. Before we go, let's just hear Pedro's take on the Chelsea and Arsenal game at the Emirates Stadium. Who picks it for you, Pedro?
Well, Arsenal, they have at least a decent enough squad. Fine. They may not all be firing on all cylinders, but of course, for every match, someone seems to just pop up from nowhere and just deliver the goods. Last time it was Eberechi and also Victor Osimeh. It could be that it may be them, or it could be another person, maybe your Odegaard, or probably your Martinelli, or even the returning Gabriel Jesus. But one thing is pertinent or important for Mikel Arteta's side. He needs a result. Because he knows that his side has played a game more than their closest challengers, Manchester City, who are actually experienced when it comes to title runnings. They've been here before, and not just been here before, they've been here before and they've done it. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. They've done it consistently and serially. So when you have that kind of an opposition behind you, you want to do everything it takes to make sure that, okay, you keep winning your fixtures. Arsenal, they still have the title in their hands. If they win all their games to the end of the season, they would win. But it is also the same thing for Manchester City. If they win all their own games as well, they would also be emerged champions. So what you have to do is just, take each game as it comes, each competition as it comes. So now they face Chelsea, who have been a bit off color. The first 5-6 games for Liam Rosinha, when he took charge of the Blues, he lost only just one out of that 5-6 games. But he has faltered for a while. Draws here and there, conceding goals, and the uncanny habit of getting red cards. They have to stop it. It is playing with 11 players is even difficult in itself. Then you're not making things more cumbersome by playing a man down. So you cannot sustain that every time, because tactics will have to change, and you just be rotating each time. Deploying players in not so favorable positions just so that you can come out or come away with something. But this time around, Chelsea, they've shown over the years, irrespective of the manager, irrespective of who is in charge, they've shown that whenever it comes to big fixtures, it could be the London Derby, it could be anything, they just have a way of just getting the result. They may not play well, they may be atrocious on that particular day, but you see them, they'll just come away with 3 points, or probably go ahead and win the trophy and all that. And this fixture is just looking like it could actually play out like that. Cole Palmer is in form. Not just that, João Pedro, he has gotten into double figures in the Premier League when it comes to goals, which will be a thing of relief for the manager, Liam Rosinha. Every other player too, maybe here and there, just do their thing. Fine, they may have problems when it comes to their defense, especially with Tosin. So probably their best or decent enough defender seems to be Trevor Chalobah. It seems to be their best. So, but however it is, Liam Rosinha knows that he needs to keep pace with the top 4, because Chelsea has to finish in the top 4 at least to guarantee themselves a place in the Champions League for next season. Because now it is a 3-way horse street. Now you have yourselves, you have Manchester United, you have Liverpool too, and those teams they also do not want to let off the pace. So this fixture is poised for everything. A lot of subplots in this one. Chelsea want to get something positive. Arsenal too want to get something positive. But the thing is that Chelsea are the traveling team here. They are on the road trip to the Emirates. In the last 5 fixtures, I think they've only scored 1 goal in the Emirates. Of course, they've not won any of those last 5. But this time around, for that to change, if you want to still remain in the conversation for the top 4, you have to score, not just score. Try and get something. It could be a point, or it could be 3. If they get 3 points, trust me, it will be damaging for Arsenal to enhance their bid also for the Champions League. So let's just see how it goes. But for me, if you want my prediction, I would tell you that Chelsea will get something from it. Could be a draw, could be a win. Although I do not see Arsenal losing, especially at home. But I see this game ending in a full-time score draw.
Well, if you're an Arsenal fan and you're expecting positives from Pedro, he has broken your heart, saying Chelsea will not win, even though he said Arsenal will not lose at the Emirates. We'll get to find out this weekend. There's a big boys game, is the fixtures. That's our show for today. Thank you very much, Pedro, for always turning up. Thank you to Kingsley Ackman, the amazing Kingsley himself. And thank you to you, yes, you, for always watching, following, listening. And it's been a pleasure being here today. Till we come here another time, make sure you do have a beautiful sporty weekend.
Premium Box Office TV. Everyone loves premium. Premium Box Office TV is exclusive on StarTimes.